All right, I want to go to this new ad from Virginia gubernatorial candidate Terry McAuliffe. Now, before I play it, he claimed that his words from last month at the last gubernatorial debate on September the 28th have been taken out of context. So here's his ad that's now airing.
As parents, Dorothy and I have always been involved in our kids' education. We know good schools depend on involved parents. That's why I want you to hear this from me. Glenn Youngkin's taking my words out of context. I've always valued the concerns of parents. It's why as governor we scaled back standardized testing, expanded pre-K, and invested $1 billion in public schools. I'm Terry McAuliffe, candidate for governor, and I sponsored this ad because working together, we can give our kids the education they deserve.
All right, he didn't mention that he vetoed a law that would have actually given parents more authority over what was taking place in the schools. But I want you to hear for yourself his words on September the 28th in the final gubernatorial debate with the Republican candidate, Glenn Youngkin. Here is now. Before I play it, just to let you know. I mean, there's a lot of talk over here, so I'll come back and let you know what's said here. But listen to this, and you determine if his comments were taken out of context.
I'm not going to let parents come into schools and actually take books out and make their own decision.
You vetoed it.
So, yeah, I stopped the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
All right. So I think you heard it. McAuliffe said, I'm not going to let parents continue to come in schools and actually take books out, make their own decisions. And you heard that was Glenn Youngkin in the background saying you vetoed it. So, yeah, you vetoed it, McAuliffe. So, yeah, stop the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach. This was the bill that he vetoed that would have allowed parents more voice in the types of controversial material that's coming into schools. It would give parents more authority. But look what he said. I'm not going to let parents come into schools and actually take books out, make their own decision. Parents should not be telling schools what they should teach. So was he taken out of context? I would say absolutely not. Here's what's happening, is that he's fearful because what's happening across the country, this is the same reason that the Department of Justice has responded with this memo on October the 4th regarding parents and education, is that this is the Tea Party movement of 2022. Parents have said enough is enough, and they are moving into these school board settings. They are running candidates against these incumbent school board members. And guess what happens when they get politically involved? They don't stop with school boards. They go to city councils. They go to state legislatures. They go all the way up to Congress. And this is troubling to the Democrats. So it's not that Terry McAuliffe was taken out of context. It's that he's in damage control is what it is. All right. Okay, we're going to switch gears now. Democrats are still at odds over the size and scope of their sweeping social spending package. The reconciliation bill, what the president calls the Build Back Better plan. I think it's more Build Government Bigger plan. They are trying to pass this by October the 31st. Last week, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Democrats can craft a smaller version of their $3.5 trillion bill while still addressing three main areas: climate change, health care, and family issues. But according to reports, the party's two factions still remain far apart on some key areas, even within those three buckets. Last week on the program, we talked about, we were kind of dissecting this, talking about the plan, highlighting various troubling proposals that are buried in the nearly 2,500 pages. If you missed any of those discussions, you can go back and watch them at tonyperkins.com. Today, I hope to get into, we may not get it all finished, but I want to look at the Green New Deal, which even Democrat Senator Ed Markey admitted is in the DNA of this green budget resolution. With me now to talk about this aspect of the bill and some of the other socialist grab bag policies is Connor Semelsberger, Director of Federal Affairs here at the Family Research Council. Connor, welcome back to the program.
Great to be back, Tony.
All right, I know our time is short here, so we may have to carry this over till tomorrow. But let's start by talking about the Green New Deal policies and programs that have been tucked into this Build Government Bigger plan.
Yeah, this has Green New Deal written all over it. And even Senator Joe Manchin, who we've talked quite a bit about regarding this plan, is calling for what it is, a big government overtake of our energy sector. And while this might seem like it just tackles, big energy policies here in D.C. Or at, electric grids across the states, it really affects people at home. They're at everyday energy costs, gasoline costs, you name it. These Green New Deal policies affect you at home.
And by the way, for Joe Manchin from West Virginia, coal state, they take a big hit with these Green New Deal plans. One of the things that we're going to see is a push for Americans to get 40% of their energy from wind and solar and other renewable energies within 8 years. What effect is that going to have on the price of energy, the cost of energy?
Yeah, I can speak from personal experience. Being from Pennsylvania, all across the state, you have a diverse set of resources, natural gas, coal, nuclear plants, you name it. But under the Obama administration, when they implemented these kinds of provisions, subsidies for solar and wind, we saw the energy prices change dramatically, and it really affected our local communities. Can you imagine taking that to the next level, penalizing those energy sectors that continue to use coal and natural gas and subsidizing those with renewable energies? It's only going to really affect the working class Americans that this whole bill is designed to hurt.
Well, we're already seeing, I was driving this weekend to go see my new grandbaby, and the price of gasoline has skyrocketed under the policies of this administration, the Keystone Pipeline being severed. But we're talking now heating and powering people's homes. I mean, I think people are going to have a hard time simply keeping their homes warm in the midst of winter as a result of policies like this.
You're absolutely right. Up here in the Northeast, we've felt the chill of fall already. Maybe some people are turning on their heat. And yeah, energy is just going to continue to climb. Not only the people at home, but again, these sectors, these good paying jobs for, again, many people in my home state, West Virginia as well, might be out of a job. On top of those vaccine mandates forcing people out of work, policies like this will also push people back to the unemployment lines again.
Now, let's talk about some of the extraneous grants that are in here. $5 billion worth of environmental and climate justice block grants. $5 billion. I mean, is this Solinda 2.0, where we had under the Obama administration the controversy and corruption surrounding that?
Yeah, I think it's eerily similar of that. Again, we're talking billions of dollars in these social justice, climate justice grants. Who knows what these can be used for? We know when these bureaucrats, whether it's at the EPA or other agencies, get a hold of these big pots of money, it only can lead to further radicalization of these policies in our country.
Now, we're talking, the president always saying this isn't going to hurt the middle class, but it's going to help some wealthy Americans because there's a $222 billion in tax credits to pay for electric vehicles, cars that usually only the extreme rich can afford.
Yeah, that jumps off the page. $222 billion in tax credits for wealthy Americans to go buy electric vehicles. I mean, it doesn't get more radical than that. I heard California governor already instituted, a ban on any gas production of gas vehicles in the state. This is taking similar policies to that, but applying it to the rest of the country.
All right, Connor, we're going to have to hold it there, but we're still going to get a fifth installment. We're going to look at some of the labor policies in illegal immigration that is also tucked away in the reconciliation bill. So stay there. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk more, I think, tomorrow about this. And folks, I want to encourage you to tune back in again tomorrow. We'll continue our look at the reconciliation bill and what's tucked away in those nearly 2,500 pages